The Transformers movies. Hello there, welcome back to my reviews, and today we'll be going over Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Another giant robot movie where a bunch of good robots, bad robots are on Earth looking for some kind of super MacGuffin that's going to threaten the world and fight over it, and there's a bunch of humans that get involved because, God forbid, we get one of these movies that's just about the giant robots. Alright, so I've had such a fun, interesting history with these movies. I mean, when the first Transformers movie came out, and I'm talking about the 2007 one, not the cartoon from the 80s, which was much beloved, but we're talking about the live action ones. And yeah, the first one, directed by Michael Bay, came out. I mean, people went nuts over that movie when it first came out. I mean, it stayed in cinemas for like 2 months or something. Everybody loved it. Everyone went crazy over it. I loved it. My family loved it. It was just such a fun blockbuster, just balls to the wall, adrenaline rush extravaganza with some incredible special effects. And then the sequel came out, and critics tore that movie apart. But I'm not gonna lie, when the sequel came out, my family and I went to see it, and we had a great time watching it. But looking back on it now, and having a greater understanding of films and filmmaking and all that, that movie it's garbage. It's terribly written. It's just like it's such a long slog. But I'd be lying if I said that I didn't still find a lot of it very entertaining. So there it is. And then the third movie came out, and that movie was better, but it was not as memorable as the second movie. Then the fourth one came out, and it started out with some promises, trying out some new things, some darker things, but then it just kept going on and on and on and on, and finally it just fell all apart by the end. And then there was The Last Night, which there was another movie that happened. It was just whatever. And then Bumblebee came out. People loved that. Yeah, it was a solid flick. It was a much smaller, supposed to be more character driven. Yeah, it was a solid film. And now we have this one, Rise of the Beast, and this one felt like they were trying to still combine some of the more grounded character stuff from Bumblebee with more of the world impacting big, like, blockbuster epicness of a lot of the other Transformers movies, putting them all together into this movie. And in the end, what we got was meh. Yeah, and I think part of that has to do with the fact that they did try to mesh those two elements, those two tones kind of together. And I think there's a kind of a struggling for identity there. I mean, once again with this movie, the weakest link is, of course, the humans, but I mean, as I said, they were trying to keep things a little more grounded. They try to develop these human characters, try to make them relatable, care about them, and they try to give them more to, they try to make them feel important in this movie besides the robots. But, and that is there. It was an admirable, bold, an effort on that part, but still felt like it was a bit, a lot of that faith and effort was a bit misplaced. It was a bit of a I wouldn't say completely wasted effort, but it was a bit like that because because the movie started out right, because in this one whereas we're not just dealing with the usual Transformers, we're dealing with the Beast Transformers. I'm not sure exactly what they're called. And there was this whole opening scene involving them and what's going to happen with them, and as I talked about, the big super MacGuffin that's going to impact the world and how they play into all this. And then we go straight into the humans, and that they take so long trying to establish who these people are and what they're about, that it kind of makes the movie drag because you're wondering, it's still a Transformers movie, so you're wondering when we're going to get to, the Transformers. And it takes a while to get there because we're spending so much time with these humans. And even though they're still, they're trying to make you care about these humans, but, all of it is very by the numbers. It's very just there are these down on the luck people. They're just ordinary people trying to get by, but the world is kind of like pushing down on them and everything. But yeah, it's just very generic, very ordinary, and it would be fine if they just spent a little less time on them, but they spent so much time on them, and it just gets a little uninteresting, gets a little boring. And even when we get to the Transformer stuff, all that is, it's really cool. And in some ways, some of that is also very generic, but if you feel more invested in what's going on with that, probably because this is supposed to be a movie about giant robots, and for what they give the giant, for what little they give the giant robots as characters and stuff, it's all very interesting. It's different from all the human stuff, because we understand the human stuff, but this is, but we go to these movies to see the Transformers, and we get to see them, we get to see what they're about, so we get to a little bit more about them, their relationships with each other, their lore, their mythology and stuff. So, but yeah, because they're still trying to balance all these things, with the humans and the epicness, the whole world-ending thing. That's no, it doesn't give enough of these elements enough room to breathe, right? So everything just feels very feels very clunky, feels very contrived. A lot of it doesn't feel very satisfying. So yeah, I felt like they should have, probably what people have been saying a lot about a lot of the Transformers movies, they should have focused a little bit more on the Transformers rather than the humans. And I mean, they're really trying to make these humans feel important. It's like every time the plot needs to, it feels like the plot needs to stop so that the humans can do something, and they need to let you know why these people need to do this. Like at one point, they talk about they have to get through this this tunnel or whatever in order to get to the thing, the MacGuffin that's going to destroy the world. And they mention it specifically that it's only small enough for humans to get through, and it's kind of like that throughout the movie, where they keep coming up with excuses to let the humans do something. It's kind of laughable, actually, but not until the very end, where it gets really crazy with that. I mean, throughout these movies, they of course they had to make these humans, let them get in on the action a bit more and more as the series went along. It gets really crazy. I mean, like in the third movie, they gave Shia LaBeouf this gadget that allows him to blow up, one of the robots, and of course the Mark Wahlberg Transformers movies, they gave him a sword and stuff like that. And this one, for what they do here, I mean, it just goes to the next level of craziness with that. So I mean, if you're into that, it's fine. But for me, it was just so goofy, so ridiculous. So yeah, overall the movie was very mediocre, I guess. I mean, and it's a shame, because they do try to get into some really epic stuff, especially towards the end, where there's this huge battle between the bad robots and the good robots, where we see Optimus Prime and his gang, and also joining forces with the Beast robots and all that. And it all looks very epic, and the special effects still look great. But yeah, with those effects, well, we already. At this point, we come to expect good special effects, and there's nothing really new, nothing really groundbreaking being shown here in terms of VFX, and in terms of action. How they shoot the action and choreograph the action. It all looks great. It looks nice, but put them all together, it's it's still very very just okay. It's serviceable, and I really felt like there should have been more, because the end battle was was really big, and they played it out to be so epic, but it felt very hollow, like it wasn't built up enough. And again, it was probably because they had all these things going on with trying to develop the humans, and also trying to develop the Transformers, and also the other factions of robots, the Beast robots, and just putting them all together, it just. No, it was a bit of a mess in that sense, and it doesn't give enough time, attention, closure, gratifying experience for all of these elements in order to justify, the big epicness towards the end. So yeah, that was all a big disappointing. So in the end, I guess this movie, I guess it's like a bronze with some rust on it for me. So yeah, but they're still making more, and I guess I can appreciate that they're trying to do new things, trying to experiment a little, just like they did with Bumblebee. And the next one that's going to come out is apparently like an animated one, so we'll see how that goes. But for now, yeah, this new Transformers movie was just, yeah, it was just okay, I guess at best was. But what did you think? Did you think it was like me? It was just okay? Did you actually enjoy it? I mean, that's fine, of course. This is the kind of movie that ordinary moviegoers would probably enjoy a lot. But for me, I guess it was just pretty mediocre, mid at best. So there it is. Leave a like, a comment, subscribe, and stuff. And I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.